So my proposal is in net energy metering, also known as NEM. Net energy metering would allow a customer to sell any surplus power generated by solar panels to a utility operator in exchange for credit, which would offset any electricity you may use from the grid in a future time. So the context around NEM is quite controversial because in 1995, when it first came out, it was not the greatest policy. It kind of has a history of subsidizing the cost of those who could afford solar, also known as the wealthy, while lower income households saw an increase in energy costs from utility companies. So basically subsidizing the cost of solar and essentially a tax on anyone that couldn't afford it, just because utility companies would raise that cost where they couldn't find energy cost solutions, they would just raise the price, and people that couldn't afford solar were the ones paying for it. Another issue with NEM when it initially came out, and an argument that PG&E is really pushing, is the argument of unionized workers losing jobs potentially in the long run if solar does take off. And I'll talk more about that in the next part in the policy analysis. So today in 2022, we have NEM 3.0, which is actually quite different from the initial one we had in 1995. Here I'll analyze NEM 3.0 and compare it to the definition we have of environmental justice that we had in the class. Kind of the fair treatment of everyone involved. So what has improved in terms of policy over the last 20 or so years? Quite a lot, actually. First off, solar has become so much more efficient and cheaper, and a lot of innovative companies are actually offering alternative solutions to subsidize the cost of putting solar panels on your home. So it's becoming more and more of a plausible thing to happen, no matter your income level. So it's a good thing. In terms of solar, I think NEM 3.0 is definitely a step in the right direction. And we've come a long way, but there's still a lot of work to be done. One recommendation I would make to the mayor of Oakland is that we have to cut PG&E into two separate entities, just because PG&E right now kind of has too much control of Oakland's electric grid, and that eventually leads to something called utility redlining. I put the definition at the bottom right there. But basically, it's not a good thing, and it comes down to PG&E just having too much power. And they can kind of control who experiences the outages or which neighborhoods experience the outages. And of course, they prioritize the higher income neighborhoods over lower income neighborhoods, which is totally unfair and unjust. I think one solution to this is having each homeowner that generates their own electricity, they should be able to own it. They should own the electricity that they make. So back to what I was saying about PG&E being split into two different components. They should be split into electricity generation and electricity transmission. And neighbors, and they should be able to basically control and sell their own energy that they make. But this would kind of break down the monopoly that PG&E has right now. Just because, PG&E, they have a lot of power just because they are a monopoly. They are a monopoly. They have a monopoly on the grid, and they can kind of price gouge whenever they want to. It's pretty predatory. So, yeah, I think having homeowners actually owning their own energy that they generated is really beneficial for a lot of reasons. We don't want homeowners to kind of rely so much on PG&E just because of utility redlining and the harm that comes from it. So if homeowners own the energy they make and they have the right to sell at a cost they want and to who they want, it would really break down the monopoly that PG&E has. And it would, I think it would bring down the cost of energy. And not only that, but having homeowners actually be able to sell energy they make, I think it would really incentivize innovation in terms of energy generation and energy reduction, all of which are beneficial long run in for Oakland and everyone involved. So.